Today we are proud to present the Celebration Lowcountry Park as a gift to the residents of our community. This 10-acre park is a jewel among the parks on Hilton Head Island and is a nod to our history, our arts, our culture, and our environment. The idea of this beautiful park in this location near Coligny Beach sprung up 20 years ago. After 17 months of construction, we are thrilled to cut the ribbon today and open the park to the public. There are some pretty exciting features in the park. The Adventure Playground with William Hilton's boat, the Sandbox Museum, playground and education tool. We thank the leadership of the Sandbox for being involved in this project. The pavilion and lawn design will host events and festivals. The walk will light up for evening strolls around the park. Every corner of the park reflects Hilton Head, reflects the community. The park is meant to be a celebration of the Lowcountry and Island, thus the name Lowcountry Celebration Park. It celebrates the environment on the island down to the deer and the birds engraved in the pavements. The expansive lawn will host many events like the Oyster Roast, the Gullah Park, and St. Patrick's Parade. This place is meant for everyone to visit. We owe an incredible amount of thanks to individuals who had a hand in the park. Wooden Partners for their design, Nick's Construction for their bringing this design to life, our current town council and former council members and leadership, Mayor Tom Peoples, Mayor Drew Laughlin, Mayor David Bennett. The actions of these former councils set up the path for creating this park and its financing. Town manager Steve Riley and the amazing staff of the town who saw these plans from start to finish. Finally, we want to thank the entire community, both business and residents, for their constant support as we work through creating this wonderful design Lowcountry Park.
Well, building this park was a very difficult challenge, a very unique challenge. It's a 10-acre site, and having building components on all 10 acres was quite a challenge. So we have the Sandbox Children's Museum on the site, we have the band pavilion on the site, and of course we have the Adventure Playground on the site, which is where we are now. And turns out that the playground was one of the most challenging components to build, and especially the ship and what it took to not only fabricate the ship, but also to haul it in and construct it. I think it took the shipbuilder roughly 3 months to assemble the ship. So having all the moving parts and pieces was definitely a challenge. I would have to say my favorite feature of the park is the playground, because part of why I wanted to build this project was to be able to say not that we built that, but that we would be actually building memories for families and kids and grandkids and grandparents. And to me, the playground is the neatest part, and I honestly can't wait to see the playground full of children, laughing, screaming, just being kids. A special thanks to the town staff. Steve Riley was obviously very instrumental in helping to bring this about with all his behind-the-scenes hard work. And initially, Jennifer Ray with the town back in 2014, she worked on this for several years, and got passed over to Chris Darnell with the town of Hilton Head. Chris was the project manager, and he did an amazing job. In fact, a lot of people ask, as a general contractor, what is it like to work with the town of Hilton Head? It's got to be tough. And I give the town of Hilton Head an A+. Wooden Partners, obviously, the lead architect, did a tremendous job, and their architectural team of architects and engineers and consultants. Subcontractors, the greenery did an amazing job on all the landscaping, so my hat's off to the greenery. JS Construction did all the site work, which was just probably the most difficult thing about this project. Ivan Hasso, my general superintendent, originally from the Czech Republic, he's a master builder, and he's responsible for building everything out here with the team of subcontractors. And so we had a great team of subcontractors, and we also had a great team of suppliers. There's probably products here from over 25 states in the United States, at least. And it's just a great team effort. And I'm just glad to be a part of it and humbled to be a part of it.
Woodham Partners would love to thank the other members of our team, Watson Tate Savory, who are our architects of record, DWG, who are our site electrical, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing sub-consultant, and then Nick's Construction, who is a real integral part of making this park come alive. We hope the community enjoys using this space. We're very excited for it to open and for it to be filled with families and children and folks just enjoying their time in Hilton Head.
Welcome to the brand new Sandbox. I'm Carrie Olivetti, and I'm the chair of the Board of Directors for the Sandbox Children's Museum. On behalf of the Board of Directors, we want to welcome you to the grand opening of this fantastic new facility. We are so grateful for our partnership with the town of Hilton Head Island and for all the hard work they have committed to making this dream of a new facility a reality. We also want to say thank you to all of those wonderful individuals and groups and organizations that supported our capital campaign. They also helped make this dream a reality. The Community Foundation of the Lowcountry has been a wonderful supporter. Gulfstream, shout out to maybe a new exhibit, has been a great supporter of ours. We also want to thank Van Landingham Rotary for their commitment. F3 Fitness Group ran across the state of South Carolina just for us, and of course we always are so appreciative of the Gant Family Foundation and the Gleason Family Foundation. With this new museum, we just have a great opportunity to expanding those minds. It is such a great pleasure to be here and to welcome you today to the brand new Sandbox Children's Museum.
First of all, I'd like to say welcome to Celebration Park. We're real excited to have you here. If you enter the park from the beach parking, you'll come through the bathroom building and it opens onto the lawn. The lawn is where we're going to hold lots of festivals, and it is wired for those festivals. The lawn does slope slightly towards the pavilion, so there's a slight amphitheater effect. If you walk on around from the pavilion towards the museum, the Children's Museum, and by the way, we're excited to have the Children's Museum as a partner in this park. I like to say that it's going to make the park useful even on a rainy day. But you walk on around to that building. That building is a gold certified, or will be a gold certified LEED building, which again, we're really excited to have, and it just speaks to the green aspects of this park. On around from the Children's Museum is what we're calling the Adventure Playground, with everybody knows that the ship that's inside there. First of all, I'd like to tell the story of that ship because it really ties the playground and this park to Hilton Head Island. That ship is meant to be the Adventure, which is the ship that William Hilton was on when he discovered Hilton Head. So the playground is named Adventure Playground. Inside Adventure Playground, there is a trail that we're calling the Discovery Trail that runs through the different environments that you'll find on the island. The first one as you entered is the beach. And there's a water feature that children can run through, and there's little spritzers that water kind of gushes from, and anticipate that children just have a great time there. As you go on around though, you enter the beach and there's a turtle. And another aspect of this Discovery Trail is that we're also educating while you're having fun. So this turtle is a green shell turtle. It's painted to look like the green shell turtle. But there's a sign to the side that speaks to what the markings on a turtle nest will look like on the beach, so that visitors understand and can appreciate and stay away from those nests when they find them. You walk on around and you'll go to the pond pavilion and the boardwalk out over the lagoon. And there's a compass rose in the ground in the heart. And that compass rose is important to Hilton Head because it was the symbol of sea pines, which was one of the first developments on the island. And there are plaques that speak to this and speak to this history. Again, the big part of this playground though is the ship, and it is custom designed play structure, custom designed for this park that children will have a blast on. We've also thought about adults here because there's lots of seating, lots of shaded seating in the playground too. And real excited about this. There's an arbor tree. We're calling it an arbor tree inside the playground, the circular bench around it. And in that arbor tree, you'll be able to plug in and recharge your electronic devices as you're sitting there watching your children. Just speaking to how that's woven in, how art is woven into the park, you'll notice that there are tracks, animal tracks in the concrete in the playground. There's raccoon and bird and deer. So I invite you to look for those. Look for the fish in the bottom of the water feature that are there. So it should be a real place of discovery. Coming out of the playground, we're going to hit the setting sun sculpture that's in the lagoon. That is just one of the many art pieces in the park. They're scattered throughout. They're woven into the fabric of the park. The bridge is part of a walking loop that goes around the park. Again, the park is going to be open 24/7. There's no perimeter fence to close it. The only part of the park that can be closed is the playground, and that's meant to keep the kids safe. So it's just all real subtle lighting. And as you walk that loop, there are points of interest. The setting sun that I was talking about. There's also a pond pavilion that's actually in the playground, but it's going to be lit at night so that you can see the structure and it's interesting. On further around from that is a fountain that's lit as well. Then on the other side of the park, as part of that loop, there are arbor features, and the columns in those arbors will be the interior. There will be an interior light in those columns, and the cutouts will put interesting patterns on the ground at night. So I would invite you to come to the park at night to experience that, to walk with your loved one and enjoy that. You know, earlier I said there were green aspects to this park, and I wanted to highlight the lagoon. The lagoon is a functioning flood control facility or structure. It helps reduce flooding upstream, not on Lagoon and Pope, as well as downstream on Tanglewood and Cordillo, allowing the floodwaters to back up into this lagoon. Also in that lagoon, there are wetland shelves that will help filter the water and improve water quality. Because those are the things you always want to talk about in flood control is quantity and quality. Another green aspect adjacent to the lagoon is the additional beach parking lot. The beach parking lot, all the parking spaces are pervious pavers. This allows all the rainwater that falls onto them to soak into the ground and not run off, again, creating or reducing flooding. The Children's Museum is a LEED certified building. We were originally going for a silver certification, but we're able to we're looking at getting enough points to get gold certification, which is great and just means so much for the community. It's a town council requirement that all buildings be silver LEED certified, but we're able to push it to get gold certified. Trees, there are trees in this park. The town plays by their own rules. We not only meet the requirement for the land management ordinance or the ordinances for development on the island, but we exceed them. Honestly though, we did have a couple of failures. There was a tree out by the Lagoon, Pope Avenue, that had to come down because it just wasn't going to survive with the construction around it. But we brought in a larger tree, multi-stemmed live oak, to replace it. And it's something that really sits at the corner and celebrates the park as well. Also, at the Nassau Street intersection, there were several trees that we saved that were originally planned to be saved, but we looked at the plans in the field during construction and were able to save those trees as well. The park is a place for people of all ages to come and have fun. And the pavilion opens onto the lawn and is set up to be a stage for the lawn. Again, I said that the lawn slopes slightly towards the pavilion, so you do get a little bit of an amphitheater feel when you're standing on the stage of the pavilion. But the pavilion is also designed to be for smaller gatherings just inside the structure. It is an amazing sight line as you're standing in front of the pavilion looking at it. The columns are set up and it's just a really striking structure. But what is unique about that, and partly due, I think, because of the structure, is there is generally a nice breeze through that structure, so that you could go there and you could have lunch with some friends on the steps and feel very comfortable in summer, again, with that breeze flowing through and enjoying the park. A lot of times at the town, we talk about having facilities that are world-class. And this park is a world-class park. It's one that I think the community will be proud of, and I think it's one that visitors will want to come back to and see. This is a park where children are going to come play and adults are going to enjoy it, and then those children are going to come back to this park and bring their children back. It's going to be a destination.
Hi, I'm Steve Riley, and there are so many people that need to be thanked for this project, and I'm going to mess that up and miss some names, but I'll start with Chris Darnell, who is the project manager for this park, Sean Collin and the whole community development team, Scott Liggett and his engineering team, Jeff Buckaloo, Jennifer Ray, Jennifer Lyle, a lot of folks. I want to thank Joe Nix Construction, Wooden Partners, QE did a lot of the site work. And I want to thank the councils going back 20 plus years for believing in buying this property and saving it for something special, for developing it into what I think will be transformational for this part of the island and frankly for the whole community. And it's just been great to see it come out of the ground and the way it's turned out. This is my last ribbon cutting, and it's a very special one because this is a great place. I think when we started the TIF district and everything else, I would have never guessed that this would be one of the last things to come out. We had a lot of conversations, a lot of different plans, a lot of different thoughts about how you utilize this property, but the time invested in the conversation has been well worth it. It's going to be a place where people are going to want to come from a good distance to enjoy this incredible park and this incredible playground. I can't wait to bring my grandchildren here. Thank you. Enjoy this park.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we are so thankful for the many blessings you bestowed upon us. We ask that you would continue to bless us and to give us the grace and the peace to know that you are always with us. God, we ask that you bless this park and all those who participated into making this possible. We pray that this place will be a place where all can find peace, can find inspiration, and a place of community. As we join in and fellowship with each other, we are always mindful of those who spent the time and the energy to create, design, and the hands that built it. May it be a blessing for those of us who live here, for visitors from near and from far. Continue to bless us, guide us, and keep us. It's in your Son's precious name we pray. Amen.
Now that we've heard from everybody who's been so instrumental in helping to make this park a reality, and we've thanked all those who've taken the time and effort to see this project through to fruition, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to invite you all to come out here and enjoy it. This is your park. Come down, enjoy the property, explore it, play on the playground, take a moment to yourself just to enjoy being here on our island, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
A meteor shower that occurs when sky and weather conditions are just right is probably one of the most spectacular astronomical events that you can observe. During a good show, sometimes hundreds of shooting stars and fireballs streak across the sky every hour. A meteoroid is basically a rock flying around in outer space. If one of those space rocks enters the Earth's atmosphere, it is then called a meteor. The Earth's gravity pulls the meteor towards it, and the resistance the meteor experiences makes it very, very hot. What we see from the ground is actually the glowing hot air around the superhot space rock as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. Most meteors come from debris left behind from comets. So comets are basically dirty snowballs that are orbiting around our solar system. And they're made up of different components like gas and dust and ice and little bits of rocks and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a model comet here in the lab so you guys can see the different components of a comet and see how, as that comet melts when it gets close to the sun, it sheds debris that eventually will become a meteor shower. So we're going to start out with just water, and water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen, the same elements that dirt here on Earth contains living things like fungi and bacteria, which would not be present in a comet. It would just be the minerals. I'm going to put just a little bit of the dirt in there. And then the comets also contain organic materials. So things that contain carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. Basically the elements that make up the vast majority of life are those organic compounds. And so even in the early formation of the solar system, there were some very simple sugars present. So we're actually using soda to represent those sugars. And then ammonia, which is the same kind of stuff that makes window cleaner so stinky. That's another organic material that you might find in the comet. I'm going to stir up our ingredients to get it all evenly mixed because they're all mixed up together. And outer space is generally really cold. So the comet's also going to contain carbon dioxide, but when it's far away from the sun, it's frozen solid. So have you guys ever seen dry ice? Okay, so it's basically carbon dioxide that is frozen, and it doesn't ever have a liquid state. And I'm going to stir it up. So what this is doing is this is well below freezing temperatures. So it's essentially freezing solid everything that I put into the bowl. So what I'm going to have you do, if you'll come around here with me, is kind of hold the bag up just a little bit right over the bowl, since it might be a little bit messy. And don't hold it too hard, because I don't know if you guys can tell, see how it lets some of the air out. There you go. The carbon dioxide is turning directly. I'm going to put it down into the bowl this time. Okay, so let's see if we have a comet. All right, and it's not perfectly round, but that is our comet. And you can see that as the dry ice is sublimating, turning back into gas, that it's essentially pieces of the comet are melting off. And so it gets really hot, and as the comet passes by the sun and it heats up and that carbon dioxide and the ice melts, little plumes come off the back of the comet. And that's what leaves a debris trail behind. And when the Earth passes through that debris stream, they burn up in our atmosphere and become a meteor shower. Many comets have left trails in different regions along the path of the Earth's orbit, so the Earth predictably encounters these debris fields as it goes around the sun through the course of a year. We can count on regular occurrences of these meteor showers during certain times of the year. The Lyrids, Perseids, Orionids, Leonids, and Geminids are all major meteor showers associated with comet trails. Meteor showers are usually named for the constellation in the region of the sky where they appear to originate. If you watch a meteor shower, you may notice that they appear to be all over the sky, but the tails point back to the same general region. This region, where all the meteors seem to come from, is called the radiant. This optical illusion is all a matter of perspective. The meteors are usually coming towards us from the same angle, but when they get closer to us as they enter the atmosphere, the effect of perspective makes them seem to get further apart. It's like looking at train tracks. Even though we know that they're parallel to one another, off in the distance, it looks like the train tracks come together. Usually the size of particles entering the Earth's atmosphere is no larger than a grain of sand, so they burn up really quickly and produce a spectacular show. Very rarely, a really large piece of meteor makes it all the way through the atmosphere and falls to Earth. This is called a meteorite. Large impacts by meteorites are very rare, but NASA scientists say that thousands of tiny specks of space rock hit the ground every year, mostly unnoticed. Most meteorites weigh less than 1 pound, and only 5 to 10% of meteors make it through the Earth's atmosphere. Extremely rarely, a large meteoroid, which comes from an asteroid rather than a meteor shower, impacts Earth. Meteor Crater in Arizona is one such location. So don't worry that any space rocks are going to be causing major problems by crashing into Earth anytime soon. Check your calendar for a meteor shower, set up a sleeping bag on the lawn, and watch one of the most spectacular shows in the sky.